I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Light show, hey, y'all, what's up? Welcome to the New Amsterdam After Show. I am your man, Deep Tyler Tyson. And of course, this is the New Amsterdam After Show, episode 13. It is called In the Graveyard. And we have all of our special segments, our news and gossip, my question of the week, and so much more in store for you later on in the show. But first, let me give you my overall thoughts of this episode. Oh my gosh, how much death can one person take in one episode? This entire episode was about death, and I am trying to be uplifting on this show. I am trying to be energetic. I am trying to be bright and sunny and bubbly, but geez, I am low-key a little down because of the episode. I am actually really excited to get past this episode and move on to something else just because there was so much death. So those are my thoughts on this particular episode. But you know me, I'm gonna break down every single topic for you guys. So let's jump into my very first topic, which is kind of the meat and potatoes of the episode, which was the fact that Max hired Adele Eisenbaum to be his assistant. So let's kind of unpack that a little bit. The way that this even came about in the first place, I love these lights right now. The way this came about in the first place is that Max found out that New Amsterdam was pushing their dying patients off on hospice care, basically trying to lower their mortality rates. Now, I don't know how the hospital world works, but I'm assuming that if you have a certain mortality rate, maybe you lose out on funding. I'm sure that's not a good look for the hospital. So what hospitals do sometimes to make themselves look better on the books is that they dump patients off. And so Max didn't like that. He thought that was a cheap and cheating way to make your hospital, I guess, more efficient and look better on paper. And so he decided, being the person that he is, that he was going to bring every single patient that New Amsterdam was dumping off back to New Amsterdam. And so he brought every last one of them back. They, of course, didn't give us exact numbers, but if you had to guess, somewhere between 50 and 100. And he hired one of the ladies. Her name was Adele Eisenbaum, and she used to work for the city council, and she's just a quick spitfire. I loved her character on the show, and she's like the perfect fit for Max. And so they turned one of the wings that they were using as storage, they turned that into like a final resting wing, almost like a nursing home for those patients. And the cost of that was $1 million. And Max ended up getting one of the what do you call those people that give you money? I guess, for lack of a better word, sponsored donor. He ended up convincing one of the donors to donate $5 million so that they could fund this wing of the hospital. I mean, they had spa, they had yoga, he brought pets in. I mean, he really, really did a great job of livening the place up, because what Adele convinced him or showed him is that even though people know that they're dying, even though they might have been giving a terminal illness or a terminal prognosis saying that they were going to die at a certain point very, very soon, nobody wants to really die, and nobody wants to feel like they're dying. Everyone wants to live their last moments to the fullest. And so that was why they livened the place up. So I just thought that of everything was the best part and the one little shiny spot that I could find in the episode, which is why I wanted to lead with that topic. And then also something else that kind of, I don't know, just kind of bothered me a little bit was a patient named Deborah who wanted to die alone. And she said that the reason that she wanted to die alone was because she had been alone this entire time dealing with her illness. All of her family, friends, even her dog, she ended up giving her dog Beverly away because the dog was affected by her illness. We later found out that she didn't have a terminal illness. She actually had an illness that could be corrected and just with some antibiotics. But basically the dog, dogs pick up on what their masters are feeling. So if you have a parent or someone who has diabetes or goes into some type of shock, usually dogs can pick up on it even before it has seizures. Dogs can pick up on all of that before it happens. So this particular dog was not eating because she was literally suffering through the illness with the patient Deborah. But like I said, the bright spot in that was that Deborah actually did not have a terminal illness, and with antibiotics, she found out that she would be okay after having a living wake. Now, I think I asked this question at some point before if you would want to know when your last days were. And in this case, if you knew, would you want to have a wake? Now, that's not my question of the week since we've already kind of dealt with death before. But I'm going to answer that right now. My answer is no, I'm not having a living wake. Like, I am going to live all of my days to the fullest. I want you all, everyone, AfterBuzz producers, everyone, when that time comes, say all the great things at my funeral or at my wake. I don't need all of that beforehand, because beforehand we're turning up. Like, we're partying, we're skydiving, we're drinking, we're doing all of that stuff before I leave this realm. So, right, we're turning up. Shots. Where's the Lil Jon? Yeah, we taking shots. That's what we're doing before I leave this earth. So that was that storyline. Also, Vijay. So you guys remember Vijay is expecting his grandchild to get here fairly soon. Ella is carrying his grandchild, and he is now smothered, which I'm sure we all saw this coming. He is now smothering Ella as she is going through the pregnancy. So he's monitoring what she puts in her body, what time she comes home. Like, he's just nitpicking on every single thing, and is driving Ella crazy. So they did come to some type of resolve where she managed to convey the fact that she just needed him to back off and just let me kind of do this. I want you here for support, but I don't want you to like babysit me, just really let me do my own thing. So that was a great moment. I cannot wait for this baby to get here. I also can't wait. I still feel like something is going to happen between Vijay and Ella. Now, I know this sounds a little sick considering that she is carrying his grandchild, but I mean, it's New Amsterdam, and Ella and Vijay had a thing even before the child came along in the first place. So we might as well rewind it and, have a little relationship here. Let's have some love in the place. So I don't know. I'm just really interested to see how that whole storyline kind of pans out. And before I get into my other topics, I'm saving some good stuff for you guys. I definitely want to tell you to please and thank you for watching us here on you got me saying ESPN on YouTube. Make sure you hit that subscribe button to continue to help make us the ESPN of TV Talk. If you're listening to us on any of our podcasts, please give us the 5 stars, and we greatly appreciate it. Also, comment in the comments to tell us what you like, what you don't like, and help continue to make us the ESPN of TV Talk. So now this one is a little bit juicy, so I'm going to save this topic for last. This other topic, Mary Ann she was a patient who came in. She had another terminally ill patient who literally only had moments before she was dying. But her daughter came with her, and her daughter's water broke, and then Mary Ann ended up getting excited about the fact that she was going to be a grandchild. A grandmother. She was already excited, but the fact that it was like, oh, my grandchild is legit on the way, like right now, she was excited about it. Now, the baby was early, but they said that it was in a certain window where even if it's early, the baby had, formed properly and could actually be delivered. But Mary Ann ended up dying, or at least they thought, dying before the baby got here. And Dr. Bloom decided to resuscitate her. Now, Dr. Reynolds, who you all know is one of our favorites here at the show. Thankfully, we didn't have Evie in this episode, but that's a whole other topic. Dr. Reynolds said she has a DNR, which is a do not resuscitate, which she legally signed a document saying, if something were to happen to me, do not resuscitate me. Let me go. Well, Dr. Bloom said that, we just talked to her. She was just excited about meeting her grandchild before she passed out and went unconscious and then went into cardiac arrest. She was excited about meeting her grandchild. She signed this document however many months, weeks, however long ago. And so Dr. Reynolds was like, if you do this, you're breaking rules, you're breaking protocol, and I am going to do what I can. He didn't say all this. I'm kind of reading into it. I'm going to do everything that I can, or you're going to be reprimanded, because, Dr. Reynolds is over the cardiac department. So he oversees Dr. Bloom also. So he's basically saying, I'm going to have to reprimand you for this. And Dr. Bloom pointed out the fact that everyone in the hospital, Sharp, From, Max, everyone bends the rules at New Amsterdam. You all know they all bend the rules at New Amsterdam. The only person that never seems to bend the rules is Dr. Reynolds. And she also went on to say, so if you're going to try to make me feel like an outsider or reprimand me, you actually need to look in the mirror, because the only outsider on this staff is you, which I thought was really harsh. And so as a result of that, Dr. Reynolds accepted the position in San Francisco, which we talked about in another episode. So that was the little piece of juiciness that I was saving, because you all know I don't want Dr. Reynolds to leave this episode or leave this show, but he did accept this position. Evie accepted the job in San Francisco. He had tried to quit, or at least tell Max that he was going to quit a few episodes ago, but never got around to it. But it looks like he's finally on his way out the door, because he gave the go-ahead that he's taking the position in San Francisco. So we'll have to wait and see if that actually comes to fruition, if he changes his mind, what actually happens with Dr. Reynolds. So that is the show in a nutshell. I got through all of the death. We can now move on to something a little bit lighter. Let's get into some news and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
And the exciting thing that I have for you is that we don't actually have any news and gossip on today's episode. Usually, I love these sound effects. They're all a surprise to me, just like they are to you, so they always catch me off guard and make me laugh. But we all know that Tyler Labine, whose name on Instagram is TL Labine, he is a follower of the show, and we are just now starting to communicate back and forth. Nothing serious. He'll repost some of the stuff that we post here at AfterBuzz, and he's the one that usually picks the Amsterdams. Well, he didn't have one this week. On his page, he basically said that this episode was going to be a tearjerker, and it was just full of death. So I'm assuming, once again, reading in between the lines, that because there was so much death on this episode, the music was just not even a thought on this episode. He said to prepare yourself to get through it. We got through it. So next week, I'm sure he'll be back on it, and we'll have some music for you. But I do have a little piece of gossip that I can't really even say all of it. The producers have told me you can't say a word, but I'm still just going to give you a little bit. And that is that we are actively working to try to get one of the actors or a producer or a writer or somebody from New Amsterdam to join me here at this desk. I can't tell you. I can't tell you who, but we are actively working. I'm in the email thread, and I'm watching to see how. We're talking to agents and publicists and we're making it happen. So y'all just stay tuned. Somebody's gonna join me at this table. If I have to go out there on the street and bring somebody in, we're gonna get somebody at this table. So that's it for our news and gossip. But I do have something a little bit more exciting for you, which is my question of the week. And so my question of the week, and I'm going to ask Vito to help me out with this question of the week. You guys know I'm wearing a Love More. I'm wearing a Love More shirt because you guys...
Can you move a little to the right for us to see that? Yeah. Yep. There it is. I can't zoom in on it, but...
I wish I could show you the back, because there's a whole love and rose situation on the
just
back.
Turn around. Just real quick. Just real quick. There it is. There it is.
So, since it is, the week of Valentine's Day, I figured this was the best time to wear this shirt. I didn't realize this show was going to be about death, but listen, let's spread some love around. So my question of the week is this.
Oh, hold on.
Oh, okay. Yay. Do you celebrate Valentine's Day? And if you do, what is the absolute worst Valentine's Day gift you have ever gotten?
Oh, okay. So the answer to the do I celebrate Valentine's Day, it depends on, honestly, it depends on the year. If I'm with somebody, yeah.
If it's an odd year,
Yeah.
no. If it's an even year, yes.
Yes, that's exactly no.
Love it.
If it's a year that I'm with somebody and I find a reason to kind of celebrate it, then yeah, I do. But generally, if I've gone back and forth from when I'm single to, I really enjoy the aspect of it that's a celebration of the love that you have for your friends and family. I think that it's very hyped up by capitalism
Yes,
a little
it is.
bit.
Yep.
We love buying all the things.
Yep.
I bought some things this year that kind of emptied my wallet a little bit.
Yes, I love it.
But
What'd you buy me?
I bought you flowers from flowers.com.
Yay, I
and
love
they told me
flowers.
that they delivered, even though I marked them to be delivered on the 13th.
That's
so
cool.
we'll see if they actually deliver or
Okay,
not.
that's cool.
I'll update you next week when
Thanks.
I find out.
I love it.
But yeah, how about you, Tyler?
You know, so this is the funny thing. As a hopeless romantic, as someone that obviously
You?
loves
You?
love. Yeah, me. I love to just love on everyone else. I don't think I really celebrate Valentine's Day. Like, I've been in relationship, I mean long term, 6 years in a relationship, and I don't recall doing anything special on Valentine's Day. Like, I'm the person that will do something special all year, but on Valentine's Day specific, I'm in the house, I'm chilling, like, I don't like to go out on Valentine's Day. Like, let's not go for dinner. Like, you know, maybe give you a gift like flowers or something. Yeah. But really, on the actual day of Valentine's Day, the 14th of February, I'm in the house.
I kind of believe in that too, because it's like, if you have I don't, look, pomp and circumstance, like, do whatever you want if you actually like to have that tradition. But I don't know, maybe your expression of love is just chilling out on the couch and doing whatever.
And so what's the worst Valentine's Day gift you've ever gotten?
I don't know if I don't know if I remember that, but off of the top of my head, it's always the pity ones that you got in like elementary school or middle school, where they, like, people would go around and hand out candy, and like some people would get like the personal ones. And I remember back in middle school, I sometimes got those, and I was like, this is almost worse than actually getting a Valentine from somebody.
Yeah. So full disclosure, I was that kid that got everyone a Valentine's Day gift, male, female. It does, even if we weren't even, well, I was cool with everybody, but even if we weren't the coolest, I would still, and everybody got the same thing.
You know what though? Hindsight, that's really cool. That's a really cool thing to do.
I was that guy. I
really
was
cool
such a
thing to do.
nerd. I was that guy.
No, dude, you're the friend of friends.
I'm trying to think the worst Valentine. I had one, and then it just kind of left me. I feel like, so for me, the worst Valentine's Day gift is a gift that somebody gives you long after Valentine's Day. So if you are in a relationship, if you do have a significant other, and they give you a Valentine's Day gift like on the 15th, 16th, the 25th, March 1st. Oh, yes, March 1st.
March 1st.
Those are the absolute worst. Like, you knew Valentine's Day was coming. I would much rather you just don't give me anything. Like, let's just not I would rather us not celebrate together. Or even if I got you something and you didn't get me anything, I would rather you just not get me anything than get me something late.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I agree. I
So-
agree with that. But you guys, tell us.
Yes, we want to know what you think. I love to hear stories. Maybe something you say will trigger another question of the week. So comment below. Let us know. 1, do you celebrate Valentine's Day? And then 2, what is the absolute worst Valentine's Day gift you've ever gotten, so we can laugh and joke together? All right, so let's get into our special and final segment of the night. And that segment, you guys know, we usually do something in the medical realm, something usually centered around health, since this is a show about medicine. But since the show was about death, I felt like this would probably be the best time to have this conversation. It's a conversation nobody likes to have. But are your final documents in order? It doesn't matter. Obviously, we all know it does not matter how old you are. Death comes when it comes. So you could be 13 or you could be 112. Like, anywhere in between, death knocks at your door. So we all kind of have to be prepared. And when I say prepared, we need to have a will. We need to have a final will and testament. We need to have if you want, a DNR, a do not resuscitate. We also, I'm not this person, maybe I should be, but those of you that are organ donors, or if you want to be an organ donor, those are things that you kind of have to have already decided before your untimely demise. Life insurance. I feel like, now the one thing I will say, if my parents didn't do anything else, they definitely instilled in me the importance of life insurance. And so I feel like I've had multiple life insurance policies since I was like 4. And I used to joke and kind of wonder, why are you putting life insurance on me? But now I get it, because I've seen families and people struggle to bury their loved ones. And when you're grieving, that is the last thing that you want to deal with are money issues. So life insurance policies for the entire family. Like, this is stuff you can do together as a family. And then also your funeral arrangements. Some people care what their funeral arrangements are. Some people want to be cremated. Those certain things people actually care about. I'm not one of those people. Y'all can put me in a box and just put me down and I'm good. But for those of you that do, those are things that you kind of just have to get in order. So I thought, well, if nothing else, this episode is making us have to talk about these issues.
Tyler, I actually have a question of the week that I might want to propose, but maybe it'll be for next week.
Okay.
Are you willing to hear me out?
I'm always willing.
Do you want to talk about how you want to be buried? Have we talked about this?
I don't think we've talked that specific.
Okay.
No.
All
All
right. Do you want to get into it now?
We can get into it now. I mean, this episode was about death, so we
Yeah.
might as well get into it.
So you want to get put in a box?
I honestly don't care
Yeah.
at this moment. I don't care because my grandmother's always said it's not like I'm there,
Yeah.
like my body's there, but spiritually and mentally, I'm somewhere else. So y'all, if y'all want to cremate me, whatever works, I'm good.
Yeah, I kind of get that. I think cremation has been something popular in my family. I've always found it cool, the idea of like the tree, kind of like infuse your ashes into like the mulch of a
Yep,
tree and
yep,
then have
yep.
a tree grow.
Yeah.
I don't know why I like that a lot. I think it's just like it's one of those things where it's like, okay, you can kind of grow something living out of it. And
It's like it had purpose.
Exactly. And I see some people in like parks around my home like that have like benches dedicated to them, and it's like, let people have a memorial public space.
That's the one thing that I do find interesting about cremation is that, so I feel like we all come in contact with people. We all affect people differently. And there are people that love us and want a piece of us all the time.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you're cremated, you can actually, you can spread it around.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
grandmother
Put me in
gets
a
some, dad
necklace.
gets, yeah. So I don't know.
Cool. I wanted to see what your opinion
But
was there.
funerals are so this is the one thing I will say. I don't care about the burial part, but what I will say, I just want a celebration. I know that there are some people that may miss me a little bit. I know that there's some people, hopefully there are some people that'll miss me that may shed a few tears. But overall, I feel like I'm an uplifted person and that I'm usually a happy person. I love to have a good time. I also love to see others have a good time. So at my funeral, I just want it to be a party. Like
Absolutely.
just think about all the silly, funny, crazy, ignorant, stupid stuff that I said, did, and was, and just laugh it up. Have some amazing food. I want drinks. If we're in California and everything is still legal, y'all can spread that around too. Like, I just want there to be a turn-up situation at my funeral. That's all I want.
And to finish this out, I actually have an Amsterdam that I will recommend based off of this. It's a song that I was reminded of this week by this band called The Wonder Years. They are Philadelphia-based. It is a song off of their album, The Greatest Generation. It is called I Just Want to Sell Out My Funeral.
Boom.
It is their finale, and the concept is kind of what it is. It's the expression of the feeling of I want to be enough for everybody so that at the end of my life, they can all celebrate me. And even though it's selfish, I think it's good to think about sometimes because honestly, I think we all feel that sentiment.
Yeah, absolutely. And then also something that I wrote down, I literally wrote down a note as you were counting me down to come in.
Okay.
And that was that I wanted to make sure if I didn't say anything else on this episode is that I said time on the clock. Basically, on the episode, there was a guy who said that he hated his dad, and his dad was like, oh, well, he told me that was his dying wish to tell his dad that he hated him. And he was just like, well, there's nothing I can do about it now. And Dr. Fromm was like, well, it's not like he's dead. He's dying, but he's still here. There's still time on the clock. Whatever the issue is, there is always time to fix the issue. I had a few friends that were dealing with relationship stuff, and they were like, oh, we think we're going to get a divorce. And I'm like, well, it's not over until you sign on the dotted line. If we have not learned anything from sports, from the passing of Kobe, from all of it, is that there's always time to fix whatever it is. Until that clock says 0-0-0, there's still a chance that you can win the game. There's still a chance that whatever it is can be fixed.
That's very true.
So in lieu of all of this death that we're talking about on the show, I did want to bring up the fact that we found out that they did finally have the burial for Kobe and Gigi on Friday. And that they're going to do a memorial for them at Staples Center on the 24th, I believe, of February. My point is, though, until you actually leave this realm, you still have time on the clock to fix whatever it is, to mend relationships. If there's something you don't like about yourself, about your life, about your career, about whatever it is, there's still time on the clock until you leave this earth. So it's not over until it's over. And that is my final thought for you guys today. That's what I'm leaving you with. I want you guys to go out and have a great rest of the week. Enjoy your Valentine's Day if you celebrate Valentine's Day, and I will see you right here next week. I am your man, Tyler Tyson. You can follow me on all social media at the Tyler Tyson, and we'll see y'all next week, y'all. Have a good one. Peace.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.